It's called Unfiltered with Kiran, local Baton Rouge news that you won't see on TV. It has its own website and app, YouTube, and social media. There's a large, dedicated following, and it's seeing steady growth in its second year. Former local TV news reporter and owner Kiran Chawla says if the past 2 years have taught her anything, it's that God's plan is the plan.
It's an example of how local TV news has changed, but it may be the only example of its kind anywhere, at least that I could find. Kiran Chawla is here to talk with us about it. Your news Unfiltered with Kiran, and it's on YouTube, it's on social media, you have a website, you have an app, which I just downloaded.
Good, thank you.
And you're off and running. You've got a very dedicated audience.
We do. We have a very loyal following.
How long have you been doing this?
Oh, God. We launched June 9th of 2021.
Okay.
So coming up on 2 years
Coming
now.
up on 2 years.
Yeah.
And you're hiring people? You have staff?
We are. We've got some openings,
astounding.
actually.
You have advertisers?
We do.
Did you ever see this, and what gave you the idea to do this? That's what I'm curious about.
I think the elephant in the room is obviously WAFB and I parted ways. So after that,
we used to work there.
we did. We worked together. It was all. It's actually nostalgia to sit here, and I feel like we should be preparing for the 10 o'clock news right about now and going on air in a second. But after we split ways from there, I sat there and just asked myself. I interviewed at several TV stations, and this was deep COVID at that time.
Right. So terrible timing.
So terrible timing. I mean,
Right.
I'm applying for jobs left and right, and if it's not a majority, all of them came back saying COVID. In fact, I was very close to, right when COVID happened, I was in the middle of booking which weekends I could go interview in person at one specific TV station.
Right.
So that was a little tough, but I'm a firm believer in God knows what he's doing. Everything happens for a reason, and when things happen, I just sat there and asked myself, let's be honest, is this not in your hands 24/7?
It is.
Do you sit and watch the 5 o'clock news anymore?
The biggest fear that TV stations have been talking about
Even
forever,
when we worked
right?
there, that was
Forever.
the biggest issue. And
Yeah.
I just sat there and I was like, you know what? It's an idea. Let me try it. What's the worst that could happen? I fail? At least 20 years from now, I can't look back and say, man, I had that dream. If only I would have pursued it. If only I would have chased it. I wonder what things would have been like.
Right,
and we launched, and here we are.
It's astounding. And for people all over the state, because we reach all over the state that are not familiar with you, we're a hot dog investigative reporter for Channel 9 in town. You've won a Murrow Award, you've won Emmys, you've won a lot of awards. And then when you parted ways, you took out on your own, and you've got this audience following you.
Yes.
And sending you messages. I looked at some of the messages that people send you. They're like, Kiran, they're depending on you.
They
it's
are,
so interesting.
and that's, for me, the hardest part is not being able to get to everyone. That is the truth. I mean, I can show you our messages right now. One of our employees, her job is literally to go through Facebook messages, and she tries so hard, but it's not even possible for her to keep up. And I know that some people get upset saying that we're ignoring them. We're not ignoring, but there's no way possible for us to cover every possible story out there.
Right. There's one beat of yours that has been true to you since the beginning, and that's crime and police. And right now, you're in a lawsuit to try to get the right to cover police press coverage once again. They're saying that you need some sort of special...
They're claiming we're not media.
You're not media.
I mean, again, elephant in the room here, it's Baton Rouge Police.
Right.
But the orders are coming from the mayor's office because the mayor's office also does not accept us as media.
Well, you've got maybe hundreds of thousands of people that might say otherwise.
Exactly.
Right?
But last year, we won a national Edward R. Murrow. So national entities consider us media to even be considered for a media award.
Right, of course.
But then locally, and I mean, they've made us go through hoop after hoop after hoop that you have to have this credential. No, you got to have this credential. You got to have this. And
so where does it stand right now? It's been tied up.
We're in the
for
middle
a
of
while.
motions.
Okay.
We're in the middle of motions right now, and they crossed the line when they kicked our photographer out.
And the interesting thing is, you're doing this simply to have access to something that you should have access to.
Yes.
You're not asking for money. You're not
Nothing.
asking for anything like
Nothing.
that.
Just our rights restored.
Right. Oh, by the way, I've seen you on Ashley Banfield.
I want to bring in Kiran Chawla. She is an investigative reporter in Baton Rouge. And
Well, thank you.
Past couple of nights. You really have made a mark, and
Thank you.
people are noticing.
The funny thing is, Andre, you and I go back a good ways. I mean,
Yes, we do.
starting at our former employer,
Yeah.
how long have we been
Well, I
doing
came back in 2008, but we don't
I
want to
started
get too
in
personal.
10.
10, okay.
So we were there together for a good
Long
while,
time.
and we
That's
grew
right.
up together,
That's
and
right.
breaking news together, and everything. Like, news is my passion. This
is.
is what I love. And I mean, there are days I have left dinners, and I have gone to chase stories, and I have no regrets about it. I will keep doing this till I die.
Well, congratulations on what you've done.
Thank
and
you.
again, I think it's a one-of-a-kind thing. Until I find someone else doing it, you're the only one I know of doing it.
Well,
and,
thank you.
All the best to you, Karen.
Thank
so
you.
good to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.